a new character in the game. Let's check her out. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Just gonna do a quick video or a video kind of going over a new character that's coming to Genshin Impact. For those of you not been keeping along and keeping track of Genshin Impact's or Mihoyo's Twitter page, they announced pretty much two kind of like teasers for two upcoming heroes, characters that will be coming up in the next, I guess, next major patch or next major story. And one of the major characters that I want to get into showing off is kind of a cultural interest. Now, there's two of them. I'm going to go over one of them. Now, if you want me to do a video for the second one and go over some of the details and maybe go over some of the cultural information about the characters, be sure to leave a comment down below, hit that like button. Let's just get to, let's say, 100 likes. I don't know. If y'all want to see another video, let me see 100 likes. So a new character just came out. One of them is this one here, Yun Jin, or Yun Jin. Sorry, mispronunciation here, but they just came out with her, and there is a bit of a backstory to her. Now, for those who've been keeping up with Genshin Impact, you may recognize her from a previous thing. You might have noticed that she is a character you might have seen before in a previous story, cooking story about the cooking god, in the cutscene where you see her in the background shown here. But if you notice on her shoulder, it's a little bit of a blue going on here. So I guess at some point they decided to change it up. And instead of going for a somewhat blue, some people thought she might be a cryo. Some people might thought she might be an air. So, you know, she would have been one of those two things. But apparently that is not going to be the case. Now, Twitter is does. Everybody's already trying to figure out what's going on with this character. This person right here is kind of confused what's with the shading and the lighting going on. And I'm going to get to why that is. Now, this character, I'm going to go over the information right here. This character, that's the other one, by the way, we'll go over that a little later on, is Yun Jin, stage Lukadai, sorry for mispronouncing, currently director of Han Yon's opera troupe. She is an opera singer or a kabuki actor, whatever you may want to say. She's a pretty much what I consider nowadays pretty much pop star. You know, pop star, maybe gone to actress. That's what she pretty much is. And she's running it. She is the director of the Han Quinn opera tropes and also a famous figure in Liyue Harbor opera scene. Now, she came to Liyue Harbor, so those who do not know what Liyue Harbor is, that is the commerce area of Genshin Impact, or the world, pretty much, where a lot of buys and trades of other commodities and other sorts, and a bit of a kind of a main staple in a lot of ways in the game so far. But this place is where all the money, pretty much more, shows up to one day. So it's also a good place to maybe set up a opera of sorts. So, you know, travel, they might come check out some of the plays and some of the local events going on in town. Young Freddy is also known for her sweet singing voice. Like I said, somewhat of a pop singer of some sort. Think of her as a pop idol, or maybe a K-pop kind of stuff like that, or J-pop. That's what they're kind of going for, but a little bit of or go for the outfit a little later on, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe lolly, you might want to say, style, or maybe doll kind of style going on, but we'll get to that. Let's see. Interactive costumes, as well as her animated and dynamic performance. Whether it is delicated or dignified young lady, or mighty and honorable horny, she can play any role. So it's like she's a singer slash actor, and even rare is the young actor is also a playwright. Other than the divine Desmile of divination, Young Han opera trope has performed many other new plays in recent years, and all which were written by Yun Jin. However, what is surprising that is Yun Jin, who has also always displayed a dignified and elegant image, having a little hobby that is not known to the public. She's likely listening to rock and roll. So we have a character that we know in the game that might be a quite big of a fan of another, guess you might want to call it a J-pop singer, if you want to call it that, rock and roll singer in the universe. If you see Yun Jin at a rock and roll performance in Lyria Harbor, please refrain from telling the whole world about it. Otherwise, she might get nagged by the elders again. Okay, so she is an opera performer. Now, if we go over and look at her costume here, you would maybe not recognize, for those who are unfamiliar, that she is wearing somewhat of a form of an opera singer. Now, the hats or the headpiece is not really very much used in I would say average day operas in any facet, but in Chinese culture, this headband is known, I'm getting information here, as a kotoi, kotoi. I'm sorry, mispronunciation. It is a formal headband or head dressing that only nobles can wear. Now, if you look at it, it has a very, if you look at the way it looks on her, it is very formal, it's very decorative, and it's supposed to be able to withstand these. Now, these things are usually made by men, and they are made to be passed down for centuries. So it is supposed to be not only meant for just women, but for men as well. They can either be unisexual or they can be specifically made for each sex or each character you might be playing during the opera and so on. Most costumes are, they are made and then they're passed down through the generations of family. And this headpiece, the little balls, all very much look like a classic uniform of the Chinese opera. I'm going to get an image up here so I can show you an example I'm talking about here. Here we go. So as you can see, they can either be very ornate with feathers and other ornaments, but it's supposed to be matching whoever the character, the actor is playing. So it can vary from person to person, and these headpieces can be passed down for generations of actors. So it is not uncommon to see some very ornate stuff. Normally, only the rich could wear these things. Now, either in common life or in play. So if you saw someone wearing a headpiece, it was not only just to signify that they were a main character of any sorts or any establishments, but also to show their nobility, their wealth, their being that they are the upper class. The lower class, whether they be man or woman, were not allowed to wear headpieces. You would only be allowed to wear cloth. Some variation of cloth, either hold your hair up or otherwise. And even men back in China, back in the older days, men were advised to grow their hair out too. So it wasn't just women. So men would have to hold their hair up as well. So long-haired men, not uncommon. So, only the nobles were allowed to wear headpieces and everybody else was wearing cloth in their hair. So as far as I'm understanding, could be wrong about that, but as far as when my researches came about, that's what I found. But yeah, that is the ancient, culture of style and headwear. Now, for the rest of her, if we look at her, she has a very, I would say more probably on the dollish side. She got stockings, she has boots. You can't see the boots, but I saw another image. They go a little bit further down. She's wearing some very high heel or very high leg boots. And you notice that her eyes, if you look at the eyes there, you see the classic white makeup for the most part and red outline. Now, for those who are unaware what that technically means, the eye color does play a significance in what that character is in the play. Now, if it's red, normally means they're loyal, they're faithful, and are honorable. If they're a gold and silver, means they're kind of mysterious, kind of like mystical. And if they are, as far as I understand here, black, they're supposed to be valorant or valor. So the eyes do play a bit of significance in showing off what this character and who they are in the play. So you can get a kind of idea, okay, that person's wearing red, that means they're the loyal, they're probably the hero. If they're black, they might have some valor behind them, but they might be also the villain. If they have the gold or silver, they might be mysterious, they might be a god of some sort, and that's usually how it goes. Also, white hair. White hair, for anybody that doesn't understand, a lot of Japanese and Chinese cultures, and a lot of the cultures over there actually, white usually means they are reborn gods. Kind of like a little bit of trope right there. If everybody didn't know that, if you ever see characters with white hair, it's usually meaning that they were previously gods and they were reborn in human life. So that's why they have such a hierarchy in the culture, because if you're born with white hair, you're very rare. And honestly, it's not very common even to this day. But it does happen. But usually those are albinos. So you take that as you want. Sorry, I have a ladybug flying around me right now for some reason. I thought the character's design is very interesting. Now, somebody did make a remark where she kind of looked like a certain character from another anime, Kushisku. She is from a anime called, let me get this correctly, Irumoko. Sorry. It's an anime I've seen before. I know I've seen her. She's kind of a cat-like girl, guessy color, and she is kind of feisty. The design of her is very similar, and I get it right. Like, sometimes you can have a little bit of an overlap in character design. I don't know if Genshin Impact knew that they're drawing a character that very much looks the same like her, because like it's pretty uncanny, I have to say here. Blackish purple hair, red eyes, lolly doll kind of dress, stockings. It's very close to each other, and it's very close. So I would say I don't know if I can fault the animators or the drawers of this, but I feel like this could be a little bit tad on the infringement side. I'm not entirely sure. I like the character both in the show, and the design is nice, I guess. You can see the similarities, I'm sure. Now, if anybody's wondering, why does she look like she, the lighting from the artwork is a little off. Now, let me try to explain this to some people that may not be aware of this. Since she is a opera singer, a stage performer, whatnot, lighting needs to be dramatic. It's not just a part of letting you see the actors, but also a way to, get the moment, get the feel of the character. And sometimes a dramatic entrance is very iconic. Note the pose of a warrior stance. She has a front palm and a backward palm onto the spear. A bit of a dramatic pose, you might say. It's a hero stance. And usually when the performer comes on the stage, they strike a pose to really signify who they are. You might recognize the classic face I was making at the beginning of the video. That is a form of the entrance and getting into the theatrical feeling of the play. So she is striking that pose to say, "Here I am. The hero is here," or whatnot. And the lighting is coming straight on her, straight to her. It gives a little bit more of a stance of, "Here I am. Blur everybody else out. I am the person you're supposed to be focusing on." Spotlight is directly onto her. So you're getting to see her front and center. So the lighting is coming at her. It's put her head in the background in the shadow because it's behind her in an angle. And it's coming straight onto her instead of coming downwards like a sun, or coming upwards like maybe a lower light. It's straight onto her. It's a spotlight. So she is the center of the attention. So yeah, some people may not realize that, but some people in the Twitter was like, "What's with the lighting? It's kind of weird." I understand what they were trying to go for here in the art style of her. It doesn't, it's not natural lighting. I'm looking forward to her. Now, she's going to be a Geo character. Like I said before, and noted by the pendant on her chest. It is a gold with the Leia Harbor's insignia around it, or whatever you might call it. And she's holding a spear, so of course, polearm. Another Geo polearm character. Don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited to get her. I would like to get her. Now, she has blue hair, blue hair, ponytails with black hair. I don't know if the blue streak hairs coming off the black hair or purple hair is part of the head ornament. It might be just a piece of head ornament, and it just might be falling off of it. And As far as I can tell, she is going to be probably a character that's going to be following the line of the story of the rocking roll character, and she will have a little bit of a rebellious side to her, maybe, but she's to be a famous character. I'm looking forward to see what she's gonna, what she's gonna be about and how she plays. So far, there has not been no releases or any in-game play styles of what she is and how she plays in the game. I know she's using one of the spears that you can already get in the game. I'm not familiar with the name of it, but I know I have it. So it's not like a very rare spear. It's kind of like either a purple or blue spear. I think it's a purple spear, but you can get it. I've gotten like 2 or 3 of them already and stacked it. So don't know if that weapon's gonna be a best in slot, but usually they show weapons that are pretty good on the character. We'll have to find out when she release. So I'm excited to see more about her. But yeah, if you want me to see do a video on the other character that just came out, this one right here, be sure to leave a like button, leave a comment down below, and we can discuss what's going on with her and some theories and some other things that I'm noticing about her that you may or may not know. But if you want to see that, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. But as always, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life. Much love, y'all. Bye.
You might want to sing it note for note, don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double, don't worry. Be happy, don't worry, be happy now. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy.